So for me, social media has been massive in terms of restricting my growth and restricting how much work I could do in a day. So I knew I needed to delete it. The problem is I didn't know if I could delete it. Actually, no, I didn't want to delete it because number one, I got a lot of people who message me on Instagram because nowadays not many people use WhatsApp. So number one, that number two, I need it for work. I actually need it for work. That's how I outreach to people. And number three, like I need to post for clients. So this is TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. So I need all of these apps basically on my phone, logged into their accounts. Because if I log out, it's a lot of effort. Because they've all got 1 million followers, they've got 2FA. It's a lot of effort to log in. So I've got a plan. Not even a plan. I developed a blueprint that I'm going to give to you now. So first thing is I've got to formulate it in my head. I've got to go chronologically. Chronologically. Okay. Number one. If you can, delete Instagram. If you can, delete all social medias. That's the first thing. I know sometimes you feel like you need to message people, but send a message to all of the active conversations you got and say, message me on WhatsApp. And if you don't have your friend's number, just give them your number and say, message me on WhatsApp. I'm trying to get off social media. That's the first thing. Second thing is if you can't do that and you don't use WhatsApp, which is a shit excuse, but if you don't use WhatsApp because you think you're cool or something, which you shouldn't be doing, you should use WhatsApp because think about the amount of time you could save and the amount of brain rot you could save yourself from. I'm not joking. When I've scrolled through social media, my brain runs 100 miles faster. I've got 6 more thoughts. If I'm not doing anything, I literally start imagining reels. There's music playing in my head. There's a funny situation in my head. I literally start imagining reels. So, delete social media, save yourself the brain rot if you can. If you can't, here's what I do with Instagram specifically. So, first off, delete the app itself. Second, if you can't, oh wait, I'll talk about if you can't delete the app because if you're logged into clients' accounts. Second, get the web browser version. Because this version is kind of shit. So log in through Safari or Chrome. This version is kind of shit, I'll be real. And it's better, but it's not the best. Third is to get a bunch of app blockers. Let me just spout some out now. Oh no, I only used two, no, three. Opal, 1sec, and the inbuilt screen time thing. I know the password to my own screen time. It's not like my parents said it or anything, but it's just an extra step which makes you think, do you really want to do this? 1sec is also good. So 1sec is like an app which makes you take a breath. It's also good because when you see it take a breath, you take a breath and you realize if you really need the app to do something, okay, go on it. If you don't, switch off. It's just a simple thing. And number third is Opal. Now, it's important when you're downloading these three apps not to become reliant on the apps. When you make the mistake of going on social media and you give in to your desires or whatever, you give in. You're battling. You're like, no, I'm not going to go on social media. You go work out. When you come back, you're super tired, and eventually you start scrolling. The next day, when you think about what you did, it shouldn't be, oh, I need to download more app blockers or oh, I need to delete the app. No, it's about you. You can't take away the fact that you scrolled. If you can steal your mind, that's the biggest app blocker there is. Like having a strong mind where you shut all down, you shut all the excuses down straight away. As soon as they come into your head, you shut it down. You think to yourself, I'm not doing it, and you keep your intention in mind. It's not when the excuses come, they try to deviate your intention. They try to say, okay, I'm just going to scroll for 5 minutes. If you can keep that intention of not going on social media at all unless it's needed, that excuse will disappear. And as well, if you can remember the number one intention, which is whatever you want. For me, it's making money. So whenever I remember my number one intention, I'm not tempted to go on it anymore because I get more excited by doing other things. I don't need this social media anymore. Also, the more you scroll on social media, the more you're gonna want to scroll on social media. Next is if you can't delete the app. If you can't delete the app, download all three ad blockers again, but just set it towards social media. Just set it towards the app instead of the web browser version. Anyway, next, Instagram done. YouTube. Download Okay, so I don't block YouTube. I've deleted YouTube off my phone. You delete YouTube off your phone as well. You don't need it. Even if you feel like, oh yeah, you need to search up stuff, you don't need it. Also, block on screen time on iPhone. I've got screen time. Block all these websites, YouTube, Instagram, off the web browser. Because if you delete the app, sometimes when you're really tired and you're really, really mentally weak because you've had like the longest 17, 18-hour day or something, and you go on your phone and you type up YouTube and you start scrolling on shorts, you're gonna regret it. So just do it now. Next, so next let's go back to the YouTube thing. On laptop. So download an app called Unhook. It's not an app, it's a Chrome extension actually. So download it called Unhook, implement it, and that should be it. It hides the feed basically. That's it. Delete the app off your phone, that's it. TikTok, if you need it to post, do the same thing. Download those 3 app blockers, bam, on TikTok. And on the web browser, I would say just download a web blocker as well. But yeah, the main thing is identify where you're weak at. For me, I was so weak at resisting social media, and that just led to a bunch of other problems. Like if you came here from the comparing yourself video, it just leads to a little bit of that. For me, as you know, I had like a little bit of a inverse effect, but it led to that. It led to more brain rot, and when I say brain rot, it means I couldn't function sentences properly. Back in COVID, I was shit at just speaking. Even now, I feel like I'm shit at speaking. I feel like I stutter way too much. I feel like I say like way too much. And I feel like I just zone out mid videos way too much. Obviously, now it's a bit less because I'm in my flow and this is the 3rd video I've recorded. But reduce the brain rot, I'm telling you. People can sense that as well. When you're in real life conversations, it happens for me less. But if you're getting zoned out in a real life conversation, I'm not I'm not respecting you as much as I could have if you were 100% present and if you were 100% invested in the conversation. Like, I enjoy speaking to people that are 100% present in the conversation. So, bottom line is delete all social media, even if you think you need it or you think you're going to miss out on stuff. Delete social media. If you really need it for work, have the web browser version of it. If not, delete it from your phone, block it from your phone, block it from your PC. Identify what your weak point is and then block it. But then don't rely on these blockers. You have to rely on yourself only. You have to steel your mind. That's the only way you're actually going to get to that true freedom. Also, one quick thing is that God only gives you the battles that you can overcome. So at the start, you're going to feel like each day you've got a battle at a certain time. For example, today the battle for me was at the morning. For me it's a goal for me not to check my phone until I meditate and until I've come downstairs at least. And it's like a 20-minute process, but it is really tempting, especially when I turn my phone off airplane mode and I get ding 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 ding, and I can see out the corner of my eye like 10, 15 apps messages like that. And for me, every day in the start of the morning, I've got to callous my mind. I've got to steel my mind thinking, no, I'm not going to do it. And I've got to feel as if I'm like a weapon or something. I'm saying no so strongly. I'm denying myself so strongly from opening the phone. That's what it's got to be like. And you can't be relying on other app blockers. You got to be relying on yourself, basically. But sorry, God only gives you battles you can handle. What I was saying is, at the start, when I first started, it wasn't as hard to resist it. For example, the first 1 or 2 days, you could think of it as like starting motivation, but it's not that hard to resist doing the bad habit that you want to resist, or scrolling social media in this case. Maybe on the 3rd day, when you've gotten used to not scrolling social media, that's when the urge kicks in. You've got to remember, God only gives you the battles you can handle. You can handle that. You can handle that temptation. You can handle it 100%. You just don't in your heart want to resist it. That's why you carry on going it. If you really wanted to resist it, it wouldn't be a problem for you. You wouldn't even be watching this video about how to delete social media if you wanted it bad enough. Of course, I know sometimes it is a knowledge problem, that's why you might be watching this, but if you really wanted it bad enough, this video is enough for you. This video is enough and you will steal your mind. And every time some excuse comes, you'll realize that God only gives you the battles you can handle. You can handle this battle. It's a matter of aligning your heart to your mind. Sometimes the mind knows that you shouldn't be doing it, but the heart wants it. It's a you problem. But this was a good video. Like, subscribe. Still don't have a catchy outro.